All right, guys, how is everyone doing? Very, very thankful week. Happy holidays to you and yours. We are so excited. Right around the corner, talked about it, December 5th, Island Fight 65. Cannot wait. Huge main event. So much to talk about. Kayla Hoggett, who we've had on the show, and now we're so pumped and excited to have Carsyn Nash come on. So here we go. We're talking with Carsyn. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. First and foremost, how you doing? Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving, happy holidays. How's everything with you?
I'm doing really good. I'm at the end of my camp, so I'm getting more and more excited to perform. This is my last hard week. I actually just got finished sparring, so I'm feeling very tired right now. But
Right,
towards the end of the
right.
week, when holidays come and I get to like talk to my family a little bit, I won't go home. But I'll talk to them on FaceTime soon, and that'll help me like get through the week.
The wheel, air conditioning, FaceTime, the three best inventions ever. I don't know how we've lived before FaceTime. It's a miracle. I need it. It's
Oh,
a must.
I'm so grateful for it. So grateful. My sister actually lives in Amsterdam,
Okay, wow.
so I spend most of our relationship is via cell phone. Via FaceTime, and I'm very grateful. I feel like there's such big positives with the technological advances that have been happening with our growing generations. It's crazy.
For sure.
I get to like the best. I feel like I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Because I was like right on the cusp of the '90s, baby. So like still playing outside. We still had those like ancient computers.
Bicycles and outside and kickball, stuff like that happened back in the day.
Yes, right. I like right on the cusp of that, and then
There you
when
go.
I got into high school, I got all of the like academic benefits of the like
Nice.
speed. You know, it speeds up the learning process for often.
All that, it's so funny. My boy's in the first grade, and when we're starting to do math homework and everything. And one time it was like we're starting to baby multiplication, and we work on it, just him and I going back and forth. I'm actually pretty decent at math. It's my one thing. It's my thing. And he asked me one time, he's like, "Dad, what's like 3 times 4 and whatever?" And I told him, he's like, you can just look on your iPhone, Dad, and tell me that way. I'm like, "No, son, we have to do it without the iPhone." Okay. So
Yes. I missed the chalkboards. That's how I learned all the multiplication tables, like up to 12s. You know, you got to learn up to 12s memory.
there you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, very, very happy for you. Okay, let's kind of get into it. I got so many different things I want to hit on, but Island Fight 65. First and foremost, people love the behind the scenes stuff. How did you hear about it? Is this something you've been wanting to fight on? When did you get to know Island Fights? Because I've talked to I talk to the guys there all the time. Being the main event of Island Fights is a pretty good spot. There's only been so many people, and a lot of those people are in the UFC or right on the cusp of it. So how did this come to be?
Honestly, I was getting hungry for a fight. Obviously, the COVID had postponed some of the fights that I had already agreed to. I was supposed to professionally debut for King of the Cage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, twice. And it just kept getting canceled because of the COVID. And obviously, like, I understand everybody's like taking hits. So I got really hungry and I started just reaching out to the amateur promotions all over. I was willing to pay to, like, you know, I wanted to fight. I wanted the more experience, and
Right.
I lucked out with Island Fights because I didn't know anything about their promotion, honestly, until probably like when I started talking to them seriously about this fight. And they had offered me two different fights, two different weight classes, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna want to do straw weight, and she wanted to do the catch weight, so I was like, you know what, perfect. I'm hungry enough where it's nice, and then I started to hear more about it, and they have a professional show as well, and I'm looking to go professional right after this one, so I'm hoping that I can perform as a professional, just go in, do my job, be respectful, and then get another one pretty quickly, not take too much damage.
That's so funny you said that. Same thing. Like I said, I talk to them all the time, and what they give, the opportunities they give is kind of unmatched when they give you the, like you said, the amateur side right into the professional side, right into the UFC Fight Pass with fighting on Icon Fighting Federation, who they just had literally 4 events in 4 months. Their 2021 plans, without giving too much away, is bananas. They have so many big things lined up, a lot of events lined up. So it's a perfect bridge. Like you said, if the UFC is what you want, is that if that's the main goal, Island Fights, Icon, UFC Fight Pass. They get your video, 2, 3, 4 wins, the Contender Series. I think it was 2019 when they had, I think it was 8 fighters from Island Fights fought on the Contender Series. It was the #1 most for like a regional promotion, and it was just like it's the bridge. It's if that's what you want to do, Island Fights is the way to go. And I love this fight. And me love regional MMA, and you see so many mismatches. It happens, especially on the amateur side. But I love when amateurs take a really tough fight, and both you girls are doing that. Kayla's a stud. She is really pumped for you, and you as well. You could have probably had an easier fight, but you're fighting a tough girl in the main event. I love that. I really respect that for you guys a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate her taking this fight too. I know that I just personally, speaking for myself, just want to be challenged, and there's no better stage to do it than under the spotlight with all the pressure of a professional show. And I think that that's like almost exposure therapy at its finest. And it's still an amateur record, so it gives me time to like have an adrenaline dump as well, for like strategically speaking. But I'm going in there I've been training like a professional camp. I've been going very, very hard, and all of my team has been there. So, I mean, they've put so much into me. They've given me so much confidence. So I'm feeling pretty pumped. I'm excited to like actually do my job this year.
Yeah.
I've been like averaging 1 fight a year, which kind of sucks, but it does give me time to learn and grow and train. These things don't happen overnight. So you have to build these habits, and then you build them through hours in the gym. I'm sure you've heard that saying that like, fighters put all their hours in the gym before the fight. Right.
Sure.
That's super true.
I really want you to expand on that as well, Carsyn. Tell me about your team, your teammates. I talked to a couple of them off air and through Instagram of that nature. Very pumped. It just seems like you guys have a really good camaraderie. Seems like you guys have it's a team/family. I would love for you to hit on it, talk about the gym and that nature.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we, the whole team that I trained with, I'm sure you've talked to Tally Payne.
Yep.
She's one of my best friends and training partners, and she's been really taking me under the wing and helping me through the business aspect of MMA and the marketing and the Instagram and all of that. And she's just a huge, huge figure in my life, and it's been really, really helpful. But also, and she's a huge part, but just such a small part of the huge puzzle that's gone into me as an MMA fighter. Like, I say all the time that it took a village to raise this fighter. I have worked with so many people personally, and so many people have like, even just once, for somebody that's busy and has their own life, that means a lot, especially when it comes to my career. This is my dream, and I put everything into it, and I'll continue to put everything into it. So the fact that they even are willing to like give me their time, it just means so much. I'm actually coming out there with a bunch of teammates. I have 2 teammates that are cornering me, Rodney Kalohi and Tevin Dice, and both of them are high profile professional fighters. Tevin is fought on Bellator, Rodney just fought on LFA.
Yep.
So the squad's coming, Tally's coming, and then of course, like, I'm so lucky to share the mats with Michelle Waterson, Jody Esquivel, and Holly Holm. And they have all been so supportive. The women at Jackson Wink, they're where it's at. You should watch out for this new generation of women. Bunch of sharks. Marisa Chavez, she's got a fight coming up. Lydia Warren, she's got a fight coming up. And we're all training hard, and there's sharks in there. Like, they don't mess around at all. And
that's awesome.
They've been putting me through the ringer. They've been really putting me. Michelle put me through the ringer today. She is not letting me get away with anything, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Right.
Even like the high profile Harry St. Ledger. Oh my gosh, this one, I just can't. The list goes on for me.
Right.
And it's centers.
And it's gotta make you feel great that if you can get through Michelle Waterson, right, she's fought in the main events versus Joanna Champion. If you can kind of battle that and get through it, that you would think, hey, whatever the fight is, I'm going to be okay. Like, I feel good about that. That has to make you feel confident as hell going into the fight.
100%. Like, I feel like I actually take most of my damage outside of fights. Like,
right.
But you know what? My favorite thing in the world is being the nail, because I know that their only way to go now is to be the hammer at one point.
Mm.
So I'll take my lickings like anybody else. Like I'll pay the piper.
Okay.
And this is a good challenge to show my new skills and what I've been developing while like we've all been working kind of slowly. I'm sure like everybody's been on a slower pace training.
Sure.
But it just gives me a chance, like I said, just gives me a chance to do my job and do it strategically and do it as a professional and hopefully like look like a professional and then turn around and get back in there.
Right. For one, I'm gonna steal that line, something about a hammer and a nail. I'm gonna use that again. Next podcast, you're gonna hear that line. Two is I think we're gonna kind of maybe break the news now. I think I talked to Tally a little bit off of air. I think her and I are gonna be commentating for the show.
Oh
So
my God.
it's going to be hard in the main event. She's going to be a little bit one-sided. So if I play the devil's advocate, you know why. I got to go back and forth. You know what I mean?
Of course. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's only fair. I'm only after what's fair.
It's going to be
so
good.
Exciting, though. That's really nice. You know what? I tell her all the time I want her to do my podcasts with me or for me.
Okay.
Because I like get very like jabberish. I start talking a lot. I get kind of nervous for some reason. My nerdy, awkward side comes out.
We love that here at Fight Bananas. I kind of want to hit on that. You mentioned with her with social media and how she's helping you. To me, out of any sport, basketball, baseball, soccer, all that, but mixed martial arts, especially with podcasting, with what Joe Rogan does and John Anik and Florian, it seems like there's a huge connection with podcast and Instagram and social media. How vital is that for you and your career going forward?
That's actually funny you asked that. I ask all the time if I can get rid of my social media. I love like interacting with people that I've met, and I've trained all over, and I travel a lot, especially because my sister lives in Amsterdam in Europe. And then my family's on the East Coast and I'm over here in like the Midwest.
Right.
So it's, I am not good at it, like at a professional standpoint.
Okay.
I'm getting better at it, and she helps me a lot. And I really appreciate it because it is necessary. You know, I'm willing to do what's necessary in order to accomplish my goals. And that is a necessary part of it. So having somebody help me like her, it makes me avoid like little mishaps and little like things that would just add extra pressure that I just don't even like dealing with. You know, it's like, ugh. Why do I have to deal with that? And then she's like, well, if you put it on, she shows me, like she teaches me. And I am a huge advocate of learning. So when she's so good, she's very good with me. So that I really appreciate her. I'm telling you, she has gotten me so many people, so in touch with so many people,
right?
Like really pushed for me. So I really appreciate her. And that's like also Lupe Godinez. She's another one that she just won the LFA title, and her boyfriend too. When he's my conditioning and nutrition coach. Speaking of interacting over online, and I do all of it online with him.
It is. It's so important. You never know what doors. You never know who will watch this podcast and then see you, and then it could be a sponsor, and then they could be like, "Oh, wait, we like Carsyn. We liked her vibe. We want to get with her." And then you get a sponsor. There's been so many fighters, and it's almost like kind of the best thing that I hear all the time. They kind of reconnect back with me. They're like, "Hey, dude, a sponsor saw the podcast and they liked what we were doing, and I got something for this. I got a 1-year deal, a 3-fight deal, whatever it is." I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
When I hear that, it's just you open doors. You just never know what's going to be on the other side of it. Sometimes it's a dead end. Sometimes it's everything you want. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I've been seeing the like positive and beneficial side business wise,
right?
To being more active on my Instagram.
Sure.
So it's like just another one of those things. It's like in any business, you have to like show up, do your job, the parts that you love and the parts that you don't. Everybody pays the piper.
Yep. I'm taking that one too. All right. So back to the fight, main event versus Kayla. What is, you think, probably the number one advantage you see that you have over your opponent for Island Fight 65?
I would probably say that training at elevation is really, it's a very, very huge, like significant factor in my training. Only because I am from the East Coast. So anytime I go back to the East Coast, there is a noticeable difference in the way I breathe and how much I can breathe. I think it's called VO2 max in my VO2 max.
Okay.
Also, just my conditioning program it's given me the edge, because I believe in my technique and everything that I've learned, and every piece of information that I've absorbed from the coaches that I've worked with, which has been across the board. I not only have confidence in that, but I really have a lot of confidence in my conditioning, especially in this camp. I've gone through camps where you're like, you don't make as many right decisions, and you're not
Right.
as confident in your conditioning. And that is just a huge pressure, just a huge pressure. So recently, like when I'm doing my rounds and stuff, I'm really noticing the difference of me like putting in that effort and actually working with somebody who knows what he's doing. And he like really gives me that extra push, and he gives me all of these, and they're tailor made to me as well. So I just can't even describe the difference it's made, and how much I appreciate that angle of my training and the people behind that.
That's awesome. That's so funny you said that. Probably a podcast or two ago, I talked with UFC's Jacob Kilburn, and he had one fight. He took it on short notice, and he goes, I felt great. My techniques felt good. I felt powerful, but I felt I was out of oxygen halfway through the second round. He goes, I felt depleted, tired. I didn't have everything in. And that's when he got submitted in the second round. And he goes, I just wish I had more air. I wish I had that oxygen and felt comfortable about it. So that's so funny you say that. If it's such a huge edge in a 3-round, 5-round fight, whatever it is, it's just when you feel like you can keep it going, it's just always an advantage one way or another, for sure.
Yes.
Two last things with you. Holidays, so we'll let you go in a little bit. We really appreciate your time. One is you mentioned Michelle Waterson, Holly Holm. You mentioned some absolute studs. I kind of saw you watching Valentina Shevchenko a couple of days ago for UFC 256.
Yes.
Watching some of these high-end female mixed martial artists, what's the thing you're taking from them? What's the lesson or the skill set that you're like, oh, I like that. I like that. What's something that you like to implement to your game plan?
You know what? Honestly, like technique wise, you can learn. I just speaking for anybody who like is first getting into fighting, you can learn a lot from everybody in the gym, because when you show up to a really good gym, like the one like Jackson Wink, you know that everybody in there is probably better than you.
Sure.
So it's technique wise, you can learn from anybody, especially obviously the high level professionals, especially. However, with the women, especially in this gym, like Holly, Michelle, Jody Esquivel, Tally, these women are mentally tough in a way that's like incredible to experience and learn from. That's like a whole different pressure, and it's like a lot about balance. It's a lot about being vulnerable, like accepting your vulnerability, and then just like kind of, excuse my language, but being like, fuck it, like we're here, let's brawl.
Yeah.
And like then having this sense of urgency, a determination, because you want to be like you want to bring the matador and the bull. I've learned, and I totally have learned it from these women. It's like you can't get away with one or the other in a fight. You have to be explosive, you have to be surprising, but you also have to be strategic. You have to be hunter. So these women do it the best out of anybody, and like the mental edge that they bring is like, that's what I've learned from them mostly. Also, they band together for their girls. Like
Right.
Like we band together.
I love that so much. It's probably been maybe the biggest thread throughout this whole year. It's been a hard year for so many different levels and reasons, especially mixed martial arts, especially for regional scene and amateurs, because these shows kind of went down. The UFC kept going, but a lot of these amateur shows stopped. And it's definitely the mental side of the game is easily the most underrated. It's
super underrated. Very underrated.
Because in a weight class, you girls are 115 or 120, and you're around the same size, and both of you are really close with the same techniques and the same skill set. Who comes in there with more oxygen and with a better mindset? Usually 9 out of 10 wins the fight. That's the fight game nowadays. So it's hugely underrated.
Super underrated.
Last question for you. We're so pumped. Can't wait to see you myself. Pensacola, Island Fight 65, December 5th, right around the corner. Fight prediction. What do you think? What are you expecting in the fight? What would be So I know it's winning and losing, of course, is the most important. But if there's something that you would like to do or want to take from this, what's the most important for you going into this main event fight for Island Fight 65?
I think the most important thing for me would just to be calm and collected in this fight. She's incredibly aggressive and she's incredibly scrappy, and I respect that in all my girl fighters, no matter where we train, all across the board. I love scrappy females. So I watched her fight and I saw her record and I was like, yes, this is a good fight for me. Like we should go in here and I just want to stay calm. I want to like have my goals. My goal is to just take what she gives me. There's like no game plan. Just take what she gives me, because if you were patient enough, they will give you something. So I just need to be patient because I am also kind of scrappy brawler, and when I get hit, I like to jump in as well. It's like, let's go.
Right.
Like in anything, but professionals don't do that. So professionals have to bring the matador as well. Like Matt is my
I love it.
number one goal in this fight. So I know it'll be a good one because I know we're both tough. I know we're both high level athletes, and we both been training for a long time. So I'm ready to put the show on. Very excited for Florida. I cannot wait for that warm weather and the beach and seafood. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna smash some food too. And then after the fight, I can't wait to meet you in person.
We will be there. We're so excited. It's a beautiful venue, really, really cool venue. You feels like you're in the movie Aladdin. It's a really cool venue. You're 10, 15 minutes away from the beach, clear water, white sand. Life's good in Pensacola. It's going to be a good time. Best of luck for you in the next couple of days going into the fight. Last thing is yours. Platform is yours. Social media, with your IG handle or any kind of sponsorships or any kind of plugs you want to hit. Take it away.
Okay, just a shout out to the HKA and McCoy boys, the body conditioning with the Godinez sisters, also JW and Harry St. Ledger. All of my women at JW, I can't even tell you, all these girls are just, the whole new generation's coming up, as well as the old generation just putting shit down still. I really appreciate everybody that's put everything into me. Follow me on Instagram at NashDeepBusiness1992. And I cannot wait to see you in Florida.
Sounds good. We cannot wait. Island Fight 65, main event, Carsyn Nash. Let's talk soon, all right?
Thank you.
Later.